So I'm starting at the back side of the castle building house. So it looks like there's a bottom floor and then two basement floor. Then we have two more floors going up. And then in the very front, we have a third peak and spiral way up top on the top of it. I'm gonna walk over to the back side and see. The stained glass is just phenomenal to me. I love this. It looks like bottles. And I can only imagine that burgundy, how beautiful the color would have been. This, unlike some of the older houses and where it's sitting, it does not have the shutters. It just wasn't a style, but it does have the slate roofs. And that's another way to know it was very much older. So this is built in 1895. I knew it was close to the turn of the century. This would have just been your... So, and then you have your huge fountain in the back that's not on. But yeah, it's just, that is reminiscent of a lot of homes that were built about that time, right at the turn of the century, going into the 1900s. You're gonna have that so this was the Moravian community, and it was mostly built around the Moravian church. So that the people and tradesmen and workers that did come to settle through this area were from Germany. Yeah, and here we have a livery. Stable your horses right there. Come on, come on. And this is the school. We're all part of now Salem College, and also there's the Moravian church offices are now in the livery. We're walking into the sun now. There's another stable back there. But that stable house, carriage house, would have gone with this home right here. I think if we walk on this side of the street, we can get a better view of what's going on. It's interesting that as much as they preserved so much, that they did pull up the cobblestone streets. And some of the historic districts in Virginia and other areas of North Carolina, they have left the cobblestone streets, but this they have definitely paved over. This was what the cobblestone, the street would have looked like. So we're still in Old Salem. If you missed the first video walking up, we walked through the older buildings, now we're back to the really old section, and we're going back down towards the newer, and newer being the 1800s. But these through here were the original. This is the historic Moravian church. This winter, my daughter will sing and celebrate Christmas songs in the church. So we definitely, when we come and go into the building, get some videos. There's an old home right here. There's 4 chimneys, and I see 2 doors on this side. So must have been multiple families that were here. So this is home Moravian. And you can see inside on the Moravian store. And it's attached to Salem College, which is right here. Salem College was founded in 1772. It's part of this community. And that was the college part. Here we have the park. I always think about in the 1700s, how many people's lives, how many people have come through this area, walked these streets to celebrate or to grieve or to be, just to be, you know? And there's another street behind this street that's attached to this old town as well. Going to see down the alleyway. So this was all part of the college. And you have, looks like there were probably rooms up top, probably offices now. This was all this street right here, Salem College, and then it was attached to the church. And that's how this town started. Right here. Can you tell what time it is? So I hope you all have enjoyed walking with me, seeing some sights and a different look and view of some of the older areas in the United States. It's unique. I think you can really see a lot of the European influence. People that are my German people, you can probably definitely see the building styles that mimic a lot of the older German styles, German towns, German setups, because that is where this was. It's where it came from. We're going to walk down this street. It's more private homes, more modern homes, newer homes. Salem Academy, it's a school now. It's another school, but it's their mission. This building was built as a home, which was a private residence. It was built in 1921. So you can see this area definitely has a more modern flair. And going back farther, it's going to have more and more and more. Kids are getting out of school now. Classes are ending. So as we walk down, we'll enjoy some lavender. This building here was built in 1937. They built it in the same manner, even though things aren't always historically accurate. I think building in a historic district that has always been a known historic district, people definitely tried. So it was the library. How much fun is that? I think it's the most fun ever, and always. And it still has the energy of a learning institution, which makes it a fun place to be. Coming up on the back of some private residences, the gardens and the ivy. But I definitely have got to get my garden going. Lots of ideas. If we look to the past, when we're not used to doing something, sometimes the answer comes and we're shown exactly what we're supposed to do. So, gives me hope that I can do it. It's obviously a private residence. Probably it's always been a private residence just by the look of it. Can you even just imagine the fashion that these streets have seen? And the changes. I mean, it's crazy. Going from horses to trolleys to cars. It's just college athletic fields back down that way. But yeah, it's truly amazing. So when we walk the other street, this is the backside of those houses. So in the first video, you can see the front house. This right here was probably the kitchen that goes to the house in front of it. Because in the 17, early 1800s, kitchens were not attached, they were separate. So that is definitely an old kitchen that goes to that residence right in front of it. Truly amazing. These you can tell are more of the original buildings, you can tell. And the tinsmith. This old magnolia trees. They're so. Look at this big house right here. So now we're almost at the bottom of the hill. The sun is gonna start reflecting into our videos. But what a wonderful, wonderful little village to walk through, a little town to walk through. I think it's amazing it's still in use. I would love to own this little house, huh? How cute is that? That little yellow house was built in 1890. Here we are coming up on another little garden. Let's just take a sneak peek. See what's going on. I don't want to go into somebody else's property, but we can look and see how they have it set up. Well, there are different garden beds. I think at first when I start mine, I'm definitely going to do the different garden beds, but I need to cover them with the industrial black plastic, the agriculture plastic, look right there, just at first in order to get rid of the weeds and make sure that I don't have problems with weeds weeding my garden up. Hope I can get through down that way. I better not risk it. I don't think I can. Down at the end down there. So I'm going to come back this direction and we'll cut across right here. We'll go back over the covered bridge, back to my car. And I can't say thanks enough for everybody that has watched part one of this walking through Old Winston-Salem, or Old Salem. I still smell honeysuckle. Wow. And hung with me and visited. Look at that. Oh, it's just so neat. Walked through the town, Old Salem with me on part 2 as well. See, here's another way. I really like the idea of boxing in my garden so that it's small beds and more manageable. So what I think I'm going to have to do is do my beds measure them out, but measure them so that the lawnmower can easily get through the garden beds. Their rosemary and their lavenders are huge. And we're back up here. Those are the vents. It's cooling. Back with our gentleman that's working on his property. Coming down the main street, walking back to the bridge. Another apothecary. This one was in 1831. The other one was in 1700s. So apparently this built up right through here. It was built up or dropped down or done something for a trolley. I don't know. But here it is. The grapevines. Old section from new section. Can definitely tell. And this community did as well have a community garden that was up higher that you saw. So people had their own backyard gardens, but also worked as a community to be sure they ate. That everybody could have something. And they had a community garden. And I guarantee you, when you're community gardening like that, people know who is there and who's there when. There was a gunsmith, 1831, going back. Compost, air conditioned. Oh, I could have walked to the end and cut across. Oh well. I didn't know. I've never walked the whole way before. But yeah. Some great ideas on how to start my garden, what to do with it. Come over this way. I see the whole area is cordoned off by that picket fence. There's just a replica up on the hill of a burnt house. So there you go. Thanks for joining me on my walk. And let's take a stroll across the Salem Bridge. Thanks again for viewing part 2.